Super early, guys. Super early. Jason with JWClassicVW here. How do I start my day? With a cup of Joe. Hey everybody, and welcome to the show again. This is Jason with JWClassicVW. Behind me you see my co-host, Goose, my 56 oval window ragtop. And today we're going to be talking about cams. More specifically, overcamming your engine and how that can affect how it runs, if it runs. And if you've been watching some of my other videos, you see the kind of troubles that I've been having with my engine. So let's move over to the big board and take a look. So as you can see, we'll be covering cam review, or what is called overcamming, or what is overcamming. So focusing in on the diagram that I just drew, don't mind the crudeness of the drawing, but here's your cam center, cam lobe. So you're looking at your cam, here's your cam, here's a cam center, and this is the lobe on your cam. If you're looking at this lobe, in the stock application, the lift is perfect. You know, your lift pushes the push rod, which in turn moves the rocker arm that opens and closes your valves, exhaust and intake. Now, if this lobe is oversized, let's say for instance, the low peak is more than the actual engine can take because it was designed for a stock lobe. If it's more than the engine can take, it's going to over push the intake and exhaust valves, and that's going to cause your engine to run poorly. Now, if your engine is built to be able to handle it, say a dual port engine, or you have bigger pistons versus the stock pistons, then it might be able to handle a bigger cam. And then, you know, you get higher RPMs and it runs a little hotter, a little faster. But if it's overcammed, like you have too much cam lobe, then it's going to run like donkey poop. Let's move over to the table and take a look at the cams. So one of the things that I was trying not to have to do was crack my case back open again, and then I have to clean everything all up again to put in a more suitable cam for my my engine. So you could reuse the stock cam if you went and had it maybe reground or polished back up again, which it's pretty polished, so I probably could put new lifters in here and then rerun this cam, and I'm going to find out if that's something that I should do. But I've also, there's a CB Performance cheater cam you can buy, and I might just go ahead and get the CB Performance cheater cam, which is closer to the lift of a stock cam. Now, the lift on this cam was around 320, 330, and the lift on the replacement cam was about 420, 425, which is way too much. So some of the tips that if you have to crack your case to replace your cam, or if you are cracking your case to replace your cam, is to clean it. And let's roll some of that footage of cleaning my engine. It's a Friday night of scrubbing. All right, now we're back. Even after scrubbing the engine and cleaning it out thoroughly, I'm also gonna have to go through here and clean out the boards for the lifter some more, And then, like I was showing you guys in the video, you're going to use a brush to clean out the oil galleries. This is a really good little $1 kit from the dollar store, and it worked out great for cleaning everything out. You want to use lint-free rags when you're cleaning your engine, and pay attention that you don't use any overly aggressive sandpaper to clean up your halves, because it'll mess it all up. It won't seal right anymore. You might have to have your engine line board depending on how the bearings fit on your engine. A nice little trick for checking your bearing fit, if you need to stay with a standard bearing or go to a 20 over to have it bored out, is you take your rear main, on your engine, and then you'll fit it. And if it fits tight and then it pops out, then you're pretty good. This is a standard. You want it to fit and not have play. You can check all of your mains this way. It should fit tight and then pop out. If it fits loose, or if it's too loose, you probably have to have it line board to a 20 over, and then you're gonna have to move away from the standard bearing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the table over here and kind of discuss some of the things that I had to do also in prep for the new cam. So I wish I could say that it is as simple as just pulling the engine apart and replacing the cam, but it's not. You're gonna have to clean all of your components again. As you can see here, I have all my main bearings, my cam bearings, all my rods, my distributor drive gear, which we're going to talk about installing in tech tips, and then you have this is distributor timing gear, which meshes with the distributor drive gear off the crank, your oil splash washer, spacer, circlip, and all of your rods, and of course your crankshaft, your standard crankshaft. Now, you want to go through here and you want to look at all of your surfaces and make sure there's no serious damage. You might need to have your crank repolished depending on if there's any pitting or scoring or overheating that's happened on your crank. Also, you want to take a look at your rods. Like, all of these bearings are new. I replaced these the last time I tore it apart, so these are looking pretty good still. So all I'm really going to have to do is clean them up whenever I go to reassemble. I always use Loctite whenever I'm cranking down the torque on my rods. If you're using a high performance rod, you probably won't use Loctite, because there's a multiple torquing process that actually you use to tighten up your rod nuts, and you'll move to more of an ARP type bolt. But for the stock application, I just tighten this down to this torque that's recommended, and then put a little Loctite on there. I use red Loctite. Pay attention to your gears whenever you're reassembling. This gear right here for your crank to cam has little markings on it for alignment. Those go up. You're going to look for your dowel pins. All of your dowel pin holes go towards the flywheel. So not like this, towards the front of the crank, not towards the front, towards the back flywheel. And all of your bearings have that for the dowel pin. So when it comes to deciding what type of camshaft you need, there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's not just your size of your crankshaft and the size of your bore or your pistons. It's a number of things. Let's take a look at a few of the standard combinations. So you got your standard size here, 69 crank, your 85.5 pistons equals 1585 cc or 1600 cc or a 1.6 liter engine. Your head size could either be a single port head or a dual port head. So this starts to play into what you're looking at, but you also need to consider, where did my blue marker go? It's in my hand. You also need to consider, what does he have to consider? Carburation. carburetor, your carb, single. In almost all these applications, it's a single carb. There are dual smaller carburetors that you do, like a Solex that goes on either side, or there's a couple other combinations too for these smaller engines. Here, the key is it's low power. It's not very much power. Let's move up to what I would consider your first big upgrade, or what you see a lot of people do. Still standard crank size, mind you. So, standard crank size, 69. And then what do? What is it that we see the big jump up to a 1776 is the 90.5. 90.5 pistons. Now, to go to 90.5, you have to do some work on your engine, right? You got to open up your engine. It's not a bolt-on addition. You have to have some work done. 1776. And you still do see for the heads, well, you don't see, at least, I guess you could do some work on your single port heads to get them to flow better, to use them, but for the most part, you don't see the single port heads as much. It's more of the dual port. But the carburation still stays, well, you could do dual carbs on that. You could do a 40 IDF carb and maybe jet it down right to where it runs right. But for the most part, people stick with a single port carb, or not a single port carb, but a single carb, because it's easier to tune. Let's move up to the next combination. Let's talk about the combination that I'm going to be doing. A 78 by 94. 2165. This is the budget build. When I say budget, I mean I'm trying to stay under $2,000 for this build, which is it's going to be difficult to do. All right, for sure it's going to be dual port heads. Dual port heads and dual carbs. Dual carbs. And I'm looking at probably 44 IDFs or 48 IDFs. Or the big dog, the let's break the bank. 48 IDAs. To get a good set of 48 IDAs, 48 IDAs from CB Performance is about $1,200. And what comes into play here is these suckers are going to be able to evolve with whatever type of engine I have, except the turbo. So, well, I guess you could do turbo, natural aspirated, but I would probably do turbo fuel injected. Now we're talking about some money, right? Like $15,000. That's as much as a car cost. So, it's a lot of information, right? It's not an easy thing to pick out your cam, but a great source of information for helping out with cam selections is going to be some of your local shops, or even get on the channel like mine. If you have a combination that you're curious about, shoot it over. I'll figure it out. The Samba is a great resource for information on what type of cam to run, but over camming, like I was telling you, it's an easy thing to do to mess up, because there's so many combinations out there based off the crank size, your stroke, the piston size, your bore, and the your heads and the carburation that you have in the engine. So do your research. Do your research. I'm doing my research, and you get to come along with me with doing the budget build pretty soon on what selections and choices I make. So try not to break the bank. It's really hard to do. I want to. Don't tell anybody, but I would spend all my money on my car. just like you guys probably would. I spend it all. But I don't want to be single, right? I want to have a house someday. So we can't spend it all. Alright guys. It's been great. Great day. Get out in the garage and do some work. Spend some time on your cars, on your projects. And shoot me a like provide some comments. Tell me what you guys are up to. Head over to the Facebook page. It's JWClassicVW on Facebook, and join my group. And we can talk about what you guys are working on. So, gonna be having the tech tips coming up pretty soon. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting my engine back together and go over the install of the distributor drive gear. So, go ahead and tune in for that. Talk to you guys later. Bye.